PMS, pregnancy, menopause. Each stage of womanhood has its unique challenges. That's why Highlands Naturals' new women's multivitamins are formulated with daily essential nutrients, plus targeted support for your life stage. PMS? Highlands has a multi for that. Pregnant and having morning sickness? That too. In the throes of menopause, we've got you covered. No matter what phase of life you're in, Highlands Naturals is here for it. Find your multi on Amazon or at highlands.com.
So I am speaking to you from Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto. That's where I live. That's where I grew up. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, what a great music scene it is there as well. You follow in the footsteps of some great artists like Drake and people like that.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely have a diverse music scene, and definitely a lot of greatness coming out of Toronto. I think more to come too.
Yeah, I love that city. I haven't been there in it's probably close to 30 years, but I remember Yonge Street and just all the great scenes there. It's what a great town.
Right. Yeah, no, it's definitely a great city. And just growing up here and traveling to other places gave me even more of an appreciation for it. Just realizing, just that Toronto just has its own kind of vibe that you don't really find in other places.
Yeah, so have you been, now you grew up in Toronto. What type of schools did you go? Did you go to some music type schools or just a regular public school?
I went to regular public school in elementary school, and then for my first year in high school, I tried to go to music school. I went there for the entirety of grade 9, and it's funny because looking back, I wish I stayed, but at the time I wasn't a huge fan of the experience, so I ended up leaving and just going to regular public high school. But I think it's just more so I didn't feel well represented at that school, just in my type of music and the culture that I grew up in, music wise. I didn't really feel like I fit in. But in retrospect, I kind of feel like that was almost a good thing. And I think that there's more that I could have learned. I would have stayed.
Yeah, that hindsight just happened so many years later. It's I could have done this somewhat a little bit differently. So growing up, what did you discover? What music did you discover and what you wanted to become?
Well, growing up, my mom used to play music all the time. She still does. She plays it. She literally, if you go into her house, she's just constantly playing music. She never doesn't have it on. So it was like that growing up. And she's a really big fan of soulful music and R&B. And so, she grew up with the 70s rock style. But I think when I was growing up, she was really into she would play Blackstreet and Toni Braxton and Janet and Whitney Houston. And so she had a pretty extensive music collection. And that's what I kind of grew up on. So I was exposed to that, and I used to just sit and sing to kind of her music collection, and I started to develop my own, and yeah, so.
Yeah, I could feel that vibe in a lot of your tracks, those slower, smoother ones, and then all the attitude and everything coming in it. It's just this great melange that comes together.
Oh, right. Thank you.
Love that. So, growing up and then going into, did you go to university in Canada?
No, that was actually a pretty big debate in my household growing up. There were kind of two sides. One side wanted me to go to university. The other side was you should do what you want and you really focus on music and you have all these opportunities. And I almost went to York University, which is one of the universities in Toronto, and they have a music program. And so I actually enrolled and I got in, but I just decided not to go, and I just continued on focusing just on my career.
Yeah, it's just you got to have the hands on and just get out there and do it, especially with the arts like this and then performing, I'm sure. Did you perform throughout the Ontario province, or did you travel all over Canada as you were going through your late teens into your 20s?
I was definitely performing in and around Toronto throughout being, I guess, my teenage years and into my early 20 and 21. And I did also perform in New York for SOBs. I did like a BT Music Matters and Soul Village, and I'd never been on tour, but I was doing a lot of performing that time. And then, kind of just as time went on and a lot of things transpired and I started to find myself more, I started spending a lot more time just focusing on recording and developing my sound. So it's been a minute since I've done a performance. It's been a minute because I've just been in the studio kind of just focusing on that, but I'm really looking forward to getting back out and getting on stage.
Yeah, COVID really put a lot of things on hold for every performer I'm speaking with. So that's
Yeah.
really tough. I mean, but you've been able to do a lot of things at home and people have been recording like crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I think that's what's so great about the way technology is. I mean, I think there's good and bad that comes with everything. So, we have our complaints about the internet and technology, but at the same time, I think that if it wasn't for the way music has expanded into technology, we really would be kind of screwed with COVID. So
True.
yeah.
Well, so you're a performer, but you're also an engineer. How did all that come about?
When I was growing up throughout my teenage years, I got in the studio really early. I got in the studio about like 12, 13 years old. So I was working with producers from different places, some from like the UK, some from the States, some from Toronto. And so as time went on, I guess I kind of just started to have this feeling of like not wanting to have to rely upon other people to get in the studio. Sometimes it's like you want to get creative, but if you don't have the means to do so in your own house, or you don't have your own studio, then you kind of have to depend on other people's schedules and getting in and stuff like that. So I was really fortunate that my parents actually invested in a home studio for me when I was 18. And so I just started to learn how to record myself on YouTube, just looking things up. I started on Logic and then I switched over to Pro Tools, and I just, over the years have learned how to record myself and then mix and master. And, I guess through doing that, I kind of started to really understand the value of being able to do things yourself. I think that you can't do everything yourself because it takes a village and you definitely need a great team. But I think if you have that foundation of understanding of how to do at least the basics, and this is something that I like, when I speak to other artists, independent artists, I tell them that too. Like, when you go into the studio, if you don't understand what's going on in the studio, it's easy to get scammed. It's easy to get lost and not really understand, what's going on. And then it causes confusion. You don't really have the power. So that's kind of been a growing theme in my career, which is just kind of always learning how to do things on my own so that if I need to, then I can.
Yeah. It's amazing because, most performers are just so right brain and creative, but to have that mix with being left brain and also it must like really compete with itself as well, because you got your creative side and then you got a really good technical side as well.
Right. Yeah. I think actually it is definitely intimidating for a lot of people at first to think of like recording themselves and mixing and mastering and stuff like that, because they're like, well, I just want to get in the booth and I just want to focus on the creative side of it. But for me, I found that it's enhanced the creative side for me, because, when you have the ability to control your creative process, then it's almost like you have more tools. Like if you're an artist and you're a painter, it's almost like you have more colors to paint with, more tools, more brushes, rather than being limited to, one set or kind of having to depend on somebody else to fill in, certain parts of your painting for you.
Oh, that is so true. That is so true. So you started very young, and then you finally met Megaman. That must have been a really intense experience.
Yeah, it was. It was interesting because he's from Toronto, but I didn't actually become introduced to him until I was temporarily living in Brooklyn, New York. So I was there for a little more than a couple months, and I was basically in the studio with a friend of my manager's and he was playing me some beats, and I picked two of them to write to, and two of them were Megamans. And so I wrote to one of them, and it got sent over to him, and he was just really impressed. And so he set up a session with me when I got back to Toronto, and ever since then we've just been working, and it's been a great working relationship. We just really work well together, and he really understands artists. Like, he understands their essence and how to bring that out. And I think that that's really what I needed at the time, because I spent a lot of years not really knowing myself and struggling with that in the music industry. I think that happens to a lot of young artists in the music industry, especially female artists, because there's so much pressure to, be a certain way. And it's a very male dominated industry. So, you can end up feeling very misunderstood, and there's a lot of pressure to do things to get your foot in the door, dress a certain way, act a certain way. And I was kind of like lost in that soup of that for a while. And it was just kind of like creating this growing thing inside of me that wasn't making me happy. And that's something that I never really imagined music would ever do, because it was the thing that I loved since a kid. So it was right around the point where it was kind of like the peak of that. And that's when I met Mega, and he really explained a lot of things to me about the music industry, and just kind of empowered me in understanding that I don't have to be somebody I'm not in order to make it. I actually can be who I am. I just need to know who I am and be able to articulate that to the public and build a fan base, and just really understanding that the music business is really actually a business. It's not some sort of lottery like a lot of people think it is.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the big misunderstanding. It's like and it's frustrating because you have to really fit into these labels and categories, so people can easily identify and find you, and then that grows from there. So that's a huge challenge. Your latest is this your latest single called "Do Better"?
Yes. Yeah.
That video is really like a mini movie. What are the origins of how that all came together?
Well, it's funny because my producer and I were talking about this idea of like the Shitty Boyfriend series, like almost like a Netflix show. And so we were kind of like trying to embody that with the video and kind of give it that like TV show feel or movie feel or like Netflix feel. And just kind of highlight the different tones in the song, but illustrate that on video, because this song has this kind of like playful vibe, but at the same time, it's like a person talking about being fed up and in love. So, wanted to give it some comedy, and it's funny because when you're creating something, you really don't know how people are going to take it, especially I think when it involves comedy, because not everybody's sense of humor is the same. So I was really pleased and happy to find that a lot of people who have watched the video so far actually did find it funny. So that was really good to hear.
It's hysterical. Your actors in there, they get credits at the end. So that's your dad in real life who's in the
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
It's actually my uncle.
Your uncle. It's hilarious.
Yeah, he did a great job.
And the boyfriend.
Yes. Yeah, McCoy is actually an artist as well. So they all came through and really did a great job just embodying what the vision was for the video.
How long did it take to shoot that and then finally like get it together and release it?
It was a quick turnaround. We basically, we worked on writing all the scripts for everybody and outlining all the skits and really just getting the treatment together. And then we had about 8 or 9 hours to shoot it in the location that we had. And so, honestly, if we would have had more time, we probably would have been able to shoot more, but that was just the time that we had for that day. And we really needed to turn it around quick. So it wasn't like, we could schedule other days to shoot. So we shot it then in that one day. And then I think that was on a Sunday. And then we got a first draft over to my team on Friday. So yeah, it's a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah, you got to have the deadlines too, because otherwise you're just going to take forever. And the more and more, and it's with your recording as well. It's like you keep tweaking, keep tweaking. It's like then you end up getting to a point where it gets like, oh, this is not getting worse now.
Right, yeah. Overthinking is definitely can be the death of anything creative for sure. But it's funny because when we work on, so my producer actually films, and I do the editing for the videos. I definitely want to get some nice big directors to do some videos in the future, but that's just kind of the way it's been so far. And I always want to be involved in the creative process as much as possible, but we usually turn around videos very quickly just because I just find that when you're in a mindset, like a creative mindset, if you let it go stale, then it's just not the same. So it's better to kind of try to get everything out when it's fresh. And I think that it's the same thing for music, for me at least.
Yeah, and these days, and every artist or most artists I'm speaking with, the single has really become a big thing again. That was the way it was in the 50s. I mean, then it turned into like you wait for the whole album release. But nowadays, with this kind of format, it's
Right.
like, let's just get the single out there, and then you're in the Spotify rotation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's true. It's become more of a singles game. And I guess, the body of work is kind of, it's fallen second, but I still think that there is something to putting together a good body of work, especially for the true core fan base, because they're always looking for that body of work that they can get their fix of as many records as they possibly can, as they like, on the project. So.
And you have a certain amount of albums out now. What number album are you about to work on now?
I think this would be the 5th project. I mean, I didn't consider all of my projects albums. A lot of them I kind of was considering just mixtapes, or just, there were just drops at the time. I've been independent for a long time, and I'm still independent, but I do have, partnerships and some more support now. So this is really going to be the first project that I'm putting out that has, a level of support and backing behind it. So I'm definitely excited to just see how that goes in the journey ahead.
In this 5th project, did you get a title for this? Is it called Until This, or was I reading
Yeah.
that somewhere?
Yep. That's right. Until This.
And you've inked a deal with Jimmy Maynes
Yeah. So
JoJo Brim.
Jimmy and JoJo are super dope. I've known JoJo for a while now, and he's been a major supporter. It helped me in a lot of ways, with really no expectation of anything in return. I think that I've been really blessed to meet people over the past some years, my producer being one of them, and a lot of the ones that I'm working with now. They're just really humble, and good people, and they really just want to win, and they're not greedy, and they're not manipulative the way that a lot of some of these music executives can be. I've been doing this for long enough to have met a lot of sketchy figures in the industry. And so
there's huge history of that with so many of these, like some of our biggest performers have had to go through just horrible years, and some probably died broke too.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So no, Jimmy and JoJo are super dope. I'm really excited about the partnership with them. And I've just got a great team moving forward. So I'm really excited and grateful.
They're with V Nation, and then there's this partnership with, I'm here in Atlanta. It's my with Ludacris.
Yeah. So DTP, or Ebony Sons, as they go by, their management company. I've definitely had, I've had my relationship with them for quite a few years. My manager, Jay Dixon. So he's been a supporter of me for years as well. It's been a lot of different moving pieces over the years that have kind of just finally all come together, and a lot of things have come full circle. And so, this is where I'm at now, with really 3 great entities coming together in partnership to support my music, and it's really an amazing thing.
So this 5th project, is it going to be radically different from your back catalog? Are you taking another turn? Is this just going to be a different sounding kind of a project?
I don't think it's going to be dramatically different. It's still going to sound like me. The fans that I've had so far definitely will be able to recognize me in this project. I think it's just it's more developed. I think that people will be able to recognize growth. I mean, that's always what I'm striving for, because as they say, anything not growing is dead. So I definitely think that there's some growth on this project. The production is really dope. And it's just a variety of sounds. It's something diverse, and that's kind of like what I work to be. I really like to kind of play around with different sounds, and I don't like to be, I say this all the time, I don't like to be boxed in. I think that the most important thing when it comes to being an artist is learning how to sound like yourself on any record. And so I kind of really like to be able to transcend genres and still sound like myself. So whether it's, a rap record, whether it's an R&B record, whether it's a pop record, whether it's got some sort of rock or country influences, I don't like for things to just all sound the same. I really like to kind of explore different sounds, and a lot of my favorite artists were doing the same. So I guess that's kind of where I get it from.
You got producers from Trackmasters. How's that feeling?
Amazing. Trackmasters is there again, another pair of just really amazing human beings. Like they're really good people. And as I said to you before, I have in the past worked with people that were credible and have produced, major records from artists that were, my favorite artists growing up. But Trackmasters, they are really just great people first. And so I'm really humbled and grateful to work with them. And it's really been a great experience just talking to them about a lot of the things that we're doing and going through the stages of planning. And, they're very involved in everything that's going on.
How's your songwriting process? And when you started writing lyrics, obviously you started very young, but putting together this project now, do you write in the studio? Do you write on your own time and then bring it into the studio and rework things?
So I don't have a one process, but sometimes I'm in the studio and sometimes I'll write there. Sometimes I'll write at home. I've had different processes over time. When Meg and I first met, he actually put together a writing group. So I was writing with other writers on a daily basis, and we would just write songs from scratch in the studio. And that was a really great process because it was competitive, but constructively. And I think that kind of like pushed me to get better at a lot of things, just being able to see other people's writing styles and kind of learning from them. And, everybody kind of really got better and tighter at their skill sets. But more recently, I've been enjoying more just writing alone. I kind of like to just take, whether it be a beat that's not finished yet or a fully produced instrumental, and I'll just take it home and kind of vibe to it on my own. I know a lot of artists like to kind of be like in the studio with a bunch of people and they bring their crew and all that stuff. I'm a lot more low key than that. I kind of would rather just, be kind of in my zone by myself with no distractions. And I feel like that's how I get my best work out.
Yeah. Is a lot of your songwriting, is it really personal or is it just based on characters? Not so much that it's like, you're giving away your life in front of the world.
Yeah, I don't think my writing style isn't super personal in the sense that it sounds like or I'm giving you all the details of my life. I think it's more so I try to keep it relatable, but every song that I've written has some sort of aspect of something that I've gone through. And sometimes it's even just other people's stories too. Like I've written songs about things that people have poured their hearts out to me about, and without obviously giving away their business, I'll just be inspired by their story. And a lot of times they don't even know it was inspired by them, but it just kind of comes from my environment, whether it be my own personal experiences or things that I just imagine or think about. And like I said, I think, when I'm writing, I'm really conscious of trying to make sure that it's relatable, because I think that's my favorite thing about music. Well, my favorite things about music is when I hear a song and I can relate, that, and just being touched obviously by the music melodically and energetically. But yeah, I just try to keep it relatable as much as possible.
And with singing, when did you discover like, hey, I could do this. I could hit these notes. I could do all this. What is your style now?
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
I think, well, when I was younger, they tell me that, I was singing from when I was like a baby. So I don't think there was really a moment where I said to myself, hey, I can sing or anything like that. It was more so like something that I really enjoyed doing, almost like, little girls like playing with Barbies or they're like playing with toys. And for me, it was like, I loved to sing. Like, that's what I did when I was just, I wanted to do something as a kid. It was like a pastime. And my parents didn't really notice that I could sing. They were just seeing that I liked to sing. But I think they just thought that was like a normal kid thing to do, to like sing along to Lion King or whatever. And then I went to one of my friends' houses, I think probably when I was like 5 or 6 or something. And their mom told my mom that, she said, like, do you know your daughter can sing? And my mom was like, what? And so, they, I guess they started paying attention from there. And then, yeah, they just started encouraging me. So I don't really actually have any memory of like, okay, this was the moment I decided to get into music. It was just kind of always there. And I guess when my parents realized it, then they just started, watering that gift and just singing. They enrolled me in singing lessons. And from there, it was just, it really just grew. And I started working with different people and got myself into a whole hell of bad contracts and learned from those experiences. And and so, and then now my style is really just, I think it's become through developing and just recording in the studio. I think I really wanted to embody like a nostalgic vibe. I've learned how to use my voice better, and that's just really come from recording a lot and learning how to use it and what sounds good, what sounds better. And my producers really helped me to understand where my strong points are vocally and the things that I've needed to work on over the years. And so that's just where I'm at now. In a nutshell.
So when do you expect to have this new project out?
We don't have a date set yet. I think we're going to release a few more singles first, and just see how those go. And I know the project is definitely going to come out this year, but there's no date as of yet.
That's fine. There's no hurries with anything. And we've been going back and forth with the whole COVID protocols. It's just,
right.
Who knows? We can go out there like all the time, but it's getting better. It seems like it. So fingers crossed.
Yes, exactly.
So going into your back catalog, that song Bass, Run DMC influenced, and the video seems to be doing very well on YouTube and places like that.
Right.
Why Run DMC? Were they an early influence?
Run DMC is just a dope. Like, I really love the 80s style, like not even just the hip hop scene from the 80s, but just like, I love the hairstyles. I love the fashion. The whole vibe was just like, it was a really cool vibe. And I love the era just entirely. And so my producer and I were in the studio, and he had this idea, like he was like, yo, we need to like do something with that sound, because we're always talking about the 80s, and he's a huge fan of the 80s as well. So we just ended up creating bass, and we were kind of like, what is this? You know, I mean, we liked it, but we were just like, I don't even know how people are even going to react to this. You know, and we played it for a few people before we released it, obviously, and it was getting some good reactions. So, you know, obviously it kind of has that, it has an East Coast vibe, but then it also has a West Coast vibe. So we were kind of trying to marry the two. And then when we shot the video, we just kind of wanted to give it that Run DMC with like the tracksuits and the big fat chain, and just, you know, do it like an ode to them and an ode to the era. And so that's really just where that came from.
And the number 24, that's your West Coast vibe. Number 24 is a tribute to Kobe Bryant.
Right. Yes. And that song was actually created around the time that he passed, and that's where that lyric came from. So it was just kind of like respect to him.
Oh, totally. Greatest of all time in basketball. Of course, you know, I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. LeBron was pretty big where I grew up from.
Right.
Yeah, but you're not totally. I mean, the Raptors are your team, so it's always goes back to Toronto.
Right. Yes.
Another great video is I Do. That caught my eye. It's just this beautiful, slow, lilting song. It's just very rich. What inspired you to put together such a great song?
Well, that one it's funny because that one was really me just kind of like experimenting and practicing. I was just practicing with some stuff, just writing, and it wasn't really a song that I was ever thinking of putting out or anything like that. But when my producer heard it, he was just like, this is dope, you got to drop this. So just decided to release it and shoot a little video to it, and that's really all there is to it.
Yeah, summer 2021 release. The video, I like the rusted out car. It's like,
right.
How did you stumble upon that?
That was just it was a location that we shot at, and they had just like a dope old school car. I put a lot of cars in my videos because I just like how they look. They're just great on screen, and yeah, I think it's always nice to see a nice car in a video.
Yeah, speaking of that, the vehicles, there's it's like a trike, it's a Campagna trike in the Dopamine video.
Oh right, yeah. That was really cool. That was a friend of ours had a friend who had one of those, and so he brought it out for the video, and it was really fun to ride in. So we were just riding up and down and shooting, and it was fun.
Wow, those look, I've seen them as a few times. I mean, here in Atlanta, there's always different types of vehicles and stuff like that. I've seen a few trikes around here. This one looks really, really different. Looks like it was built in Quebec?
I actually have no idea. I don't know where it was built. But yeah, no, it just looks really dope, and it was fun to be in. It's easy. I see them on the road every once in a while too. They're nice. I don't even know. What do you call them? They're not cars, but
yeah, it's not really a car. It really isn't. It's somewhere in between, but they look amazing. I wonder what the feel of that ride is. It's just really insane.
It was really cool. It was almost like a mix between like a motorcycle, like a bike,
right?
Bike and a car. I think it's a T-Rex. It's like a T-Rex or whatever. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, Dopamine. It's on your YouTube channel and playing everywhere. It's just looks like it's getting another nice amount of hits as well on YouTube.
Yeah, that one like the fans really took to that one. I find because it's just over time people just kept discovering it, and the numbers were just going up and up and up, and so it was definitely unexpected. I didn't expect that one to, not that I don't like the record, because I do love the record, but it was just you just never know what people are going to like and how they're going to react to it. I think that trying to guess that is honestly impossible. You just have to go with what you feel, and and just throw it out there and see what comes back.
Yeah, it seems like you're getting some good acting chops, and there are a lot of people who perform are not so much into the acting, but it you seem very natural as you've been doing a lot of these videos.
Oh, thank you.
Did you want to pursue that a little bit more, get actual speaking roles, try to work your way into film a little bit?
Yeah, I would love to. I've honestly always kind of wanted to get into acting. It's just something that I've seen myself doing more so once my music is like fully established. Um, but I think as we shoot more videos, I think we're gonna start getting more into kind of like storytelling and different skits, and so I'll be able to kind of show that a little bit more as time goes on. But yeah, I would love to get into acting. I'd love to get some roles and go down that route eventually for sure.
Yeah, you show those chops in the No Sleep video, which shows a lot of that attitude as well. I mean, there's a very interesting neon sign in there. I don't know who was trying to work that one in there, but caught my eye.
Oh,
Definitely.
right. Yeah, no, that was a great little location. Like it's like had a lot of different just ambient signs in there. It was really great for the video. It looked amazing on camera. So yeah, that was a dope video shoot, and yeah, the fans seem to like that one too. So
All shot around the Toronto area. Is that where you're doing most of your locations?
yeah, every video has been shot in Toronto. The only one that wasn't shot in Toronto was Base.
Stand is another one too. You're like near a freeway or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was actually that was a song that I did for a Mother's Day campaign with a clothing line named Vera Moda, and it was a tribute to my late grandmother that passed away in 2020.
Oh,
So yeah,
was that her picture you were holding in that video?
yeah, it was.
What a nice picture. I love those vintage pictures. They're so awesome with the frames and all that. It's really neat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, she was like so beautiful when she was like when she was in like her 20s and 30s, she looked like a model. Like there's so many photos of her that I see and I was like, oh my gosh, these don't even look like family pictures or just pictures that you take on vacation. But I think that also because like now everybody's kind of looking for that like old school vintage vibe when it comes to film and pictures and stuff like that. So we're adding grain and we're adding like all these things that they had naturally back then, so when you look back at these photos from before, it's like everybody's trying to emulate that now, so but everything comes back, right? So
It really does. Everything does circle back. I started out as a kid doing Super 8 films, and we tried so hard not to have scratches and all this stuff. And now, like, we're adding that back into video. Like, what's going on with that?
I know. It's like now we're looking for like, the scratches and all the little light bending, light leaks and stuff like that. Yeah. That's what we're just trying to
Isn't
do
that
now. Yeah.
It's so weird. And it is. And now they're trying to imitate like flaws that came from old videotape. Now those are becoming effects now that people are using. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, I guess, it's just like the digital era kind of sucked a lot of the feeling out of things, and it's like, like I said, everything has good and everything has bad. There's balance to all things, right? So, I mean, we've been able to increase the quality and the pixels of film and photos, and I think that's great. But I think through all of that, we've kind of started to realize that, okay, when things look too clean and too crisp, it's almost like there's no feeling, like there's no vibe. So I think we're trying to like put that feeling and that vibe back in it, right?
We're doing that a lot. Yeah, that's very true. And programs are like Premiere Pro and all these others are like putting these effects back in.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. You have a lot of good albums. I mean, what is the some of these names are interesting. You named an album Heart of Gold.
Right.
What inspired that name?
It's funny because I think we were putting the records together and we were listening to them, and this is kind of like the process that I have. Like I'll listen to, like, when I'm ready to put out a project, we'll listen to the records. First we'll pick the records, listen to them, and then kind of try to feel like what the vibe is of the entire project and try to emulate that in a title. And so that was just something that came to mind. And I think that Heart of Gold is really just like I'm really big on energy and just understanding that music is a form of vibration frequency, which is energy, and it energetically affects people when they listen to it, and especially the heart. And I think that that's what makes music great, is when you can feel it, and you feel it energetically in your heart. And it's not something that a lot of people understand or even know that's happening. But I think, a lot of people, when you become an artist, you get a lot of people saying things like, your music saved my life, and it really helped me with this and it helped me with that. And at first, years ago, I really didn't understand. Like, I understood it from a fan point of view, because some of my favorite artists like really helped me through times as well. But I think when you become an artist, you're just like, really, my music, it's like, that's helping you, like that's an amazing thing to hear. But over time, I started to understand that music has the power to lift the vibration and the frequency of the human body. And it's something that we're suffering from a lot, because all of the stresses and the negativity that we encounter on a daily basis, it brings it down. And when we listen to music, it brings that up, and that can actually save somebody's life. That can really actually give them, more of a drive to keep going on. And so, I mean, Heart of Gold it doesn't say that in plain sight, but that's kind of where I was going, is just kind of like, I think that we all have a heart of gold, but I think that, we can get lost, and we can, our vibrations can get low because of all the things that we encounter, but we always have a way back.
So true. So true. I mean, music is so powerful, and it conjures up memories for a lot of us. And just, hey, I know where I was when I heard that. And it's just total magic. And what you performers do is just, it's an incredible gift.
Right. Yes, it is. It is it's I think that it's an incredible responsibility too. Just because music is so influential. Like it really is. It has the power to change and transmute so many things inside of people. And so I take that responsibility seriously. And I think that it's a tool for energetic healing. And I think that, like I said, I don't think everybody's aware of that. But some of the greatest artists, I don't even know if they were consciously aware of it, but I think that they were instinctively aware of it, just almost instinctively understood their ability to touch people energetically with their music. And so, yeah, it's a powerful thing for sure.
Another album that really stands into mind is The Cure 2. That is a really nice, and I like your sequencing on that. I listened to that whole full album today. It's just really smooth. It's just kind of it really does. The flow is just really amazing on that. How was that produced, and who produced that?
Oh, thank you. Actually, that was pretty much entirely produced by my producer, Megaman. So, I mean, honestly, majority of my body of work is all just me and him working, aside from the very first project and the project coming out. All of them, even including the project coming out and the first project, were executive produced by him. But for a while, we were just working solo, just together on all the singles and all the projects. But The Cure 2... the Cure series, I should say, because there was a Cure 1 and there definitely will be a Cure 3. And Mega also did the first one as well. But and you know what? Sorry, Mega produced the entire album of This Is Me, which was my first project. I'm just thinking we had a lot of other people involved in that one, but the other ones were just me and him. But the Cure series is really just it's kind of what I was just talking to you about, is The Cure. So it's kind of like, it has a specific sound to it. It's, those kind of like real in your feelings type records. And it's supposed to serve as like almost like a medicine, like when you need to sit and hear something that's going to like speak to you if you're, feeling emotional, or you're feeling, even if you're not feeling emotional, something that you could drive to at night, and just kind of is like a soundtrack to, whatever you're going through. That's kind of where I'm going with that series. And that was the direction. And people really seem to take to that series. So I'm definitely going to keep doing it. And yeah.
There's a track on there called Juice. Does that stand for something that's got a period between each letter? Juice, Juice.
No, it was really just Juice. It was just a fun way to spell it, just giving it something a little different than just writing Juice how it was, but it doesn't actually stand for anything.
Another single that's been getting some attention is Keeper. That's gotten a nice amount of streams, probably around in the ballpark of 1 million between all the formats out there.
Yeah. Keeper was a song that we had in the vault for a while, and I really wanted to release it. So when we did, I was really, really happy. It was a song that I just felt like it was one of like my favorite songs at the time when we did it. And so yeah, I was really happy to hear that it was received in the way that I felt about it. And yeah, that's just that was just a dope one. I really loved how the video turned out as well. So
yeah, good trap style slow jam. I just really enjoyed that.
All right, thank you.
And really, best of luck for everything that you're doing, and your new project should be out this year in 2022. We'll have more albums with the name The Cure in it.
Yes, definitely.
Probably be many volumes, and hopefully many, many more to come. And do you hope to one day, as the future goes, do you hope to really do a lot of extensive touring? What do you see in 5-10 years, if you can have somewhat of an idea?
Yeah, definitely. I would love to do a world tour. I think that would be absolutely incredible. I've really been looking forward to going on tour. At the same time, I have had a lot of opportunities to go across borders and do performances, but I'm just very, I'm a big believer in timing and just understanding that not everything is meant for that time. And so I think that when the time is right, I think it's definitely sooner than later, possibly this year or next, depending on, like you said, everything that's going on with COVID. But yeah, I would love to do a world tour and just be able to connect with the fans face to face in shows and stuff like that. I think nothing really beats that. The internet is a great medium to be able to promote your music, but it's just a whole different thing to be able to be in the same room as the fans, and that exchange of energy, you're giving to them and they're giving you the energy back. And I think that that's just something that I can't wait to really experience on that kind of a scale and stage.
Well, best wishes to you. And I really look forward to this next project. I've really enjoyed listening to your catalog, and just best wishes for everything going forward.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Take care. Have a very good one.
Okay, you too.
Bye-bye.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.